Renovated bungalows are otherwise now known as the cottages, which we've gone through about half of them so far, and we're looking at cottages number 4 and 8 at this time. And this is just a view of the balcony. We changed the entrance from being in the middle, and so if you are familiar with the property, there used to be an entrance for 2 rooms in one of these bungalow housing structures, and now each bungalow, each room has their own entrance to the side and a little bit more privacy as well, because we split the balcony. So you don't necessarily have to talk to the neighbor if you don't want to, but you can of course go around if you would like. And moving into the room itself, these are brand new beds and frames and new design with the throw pillows and the standard pillows in the back there. And then you can also see the kitchenette unit that we renovated, and we'll get to in a second. Also, we added a working desk with a charging station, so you have USB and also Type-C there as well, right below the television. And that's for anybody who wants to get some work done, especially those work from home people. And this is a wider view of the room, and I just want to make note of the AC, because these used to be fan cooled rooms, and now we got rid of the louver windows, and so now it's completely sealed up, if you will, with, as far as the windows go, brand new windows. And also want to bring attention to the ceilings. So the ceilings used to be flat, and now we brought them up to an apex to give a little bit more room and make it feel a little bit more spacious, but still maintain the coziness. And also bringing some more attention to the far right corner of the kitchenette that we have, and we'll get to that in a second, and also the newly renovated bathroom. So we basically gutted this entire place. Even the floor tiles are brand new as well. And this is another angle of the bed, and just want to bring some attention to the LED bed frame, as well as the embedded nightstands and lamps, and another view of the kitchenette, I should say. And as you can see, it has basically all the utensils and tools that you might need to cook a meal. Included is a mini fridge there down on the left, and a hot plate, coffee maker, ice bucket, all the knives and utensils that you may need to feed a small family. Not necessarily Thanksgiving dinner, but you can definitely chef it up in there, especially if you're staying for an extended period of time. This might be a perfect type of accommodation for you. And that essentially is the kitchen. And now moving on to the bathroom. And as I mentioned before, like floor to ceiling, new floor tiles, new ceiling tiles. Got the LED frame around the mirror to give a little bit more lights. We changed out the square louver windows for the ship window, I guess you can call it. And we got the rainfall shower head and the glass frame shower door. Even the towel holders, those are all new. And again, trying to bring together everything in the room, the kitchenette, and to complete the cottage experience, if you will. So very happy and proud of how this was done, and really wanted to give a modern look and feel to this new room category, the cottage. And so also with this wider angle, want to bring attention to the closet. So you got some drawer space there, and you got some hanging space as well, and your safe, of course, and the ironing board is on the other side in between the closet and the window there. And yeah, another angle of the room, and also want to bring attention to that long standing mirror there, so full frame mirror. And that essentially is the bungalow, and this is kind of our way of paying homage to my dad and where he started from with this hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. Started right with one bungalow and grew to the 60-room resort that Travelers Beach Resort is now. And my dad hasn't seen it as yet physically. I think he's seen pictures and everything like that. So and I'd say like this is pretty typical in terms of traffic on the West End. It's not really a crowded place. The roads are narrow, but it's relatively safe as far as traffic goes. I guess because it's like so windy, you're forced to slow down, and also there are just not a lot of cars there. I bike here, I run here as well, and I like it a little bit better than the beach in the sense of there just not being that many cars passing and driving towards you. It's the Mirage Hotel. That's the sister property to Shirella Inn. Both great small properties, locally owned. It seems like I'm driving fast, but I don't think I'm driving fast. These properties are just like whizzing by. There's Ivan's, otherwise known as Catch a Falling Star. Again, one of my favorite restaurants, I would say, too. Highly recommend them. They do really good stuff, great service and great food. Coming up here on the right, this is the world famous Rick's Cafe, where you can do cliff jumping if you are brave enough, but it's definitely, I would say, the most popular place, bar in Negril, place to go in Negril. LTU, that's a popular expat bar. And they do their famous Halloween party every October as well. Never been, but I hear stories. I hear it's a lot of fun. Little girl saying hello. Right, we are going deeper into the West End. We're almost in deep West End, but not quite there yet. Coming up on the right is the Caves, which is known as a very exclusive property. A lot of celebrities have been there and stayed there before. I actually went there for dinner the other day, which was very nice, good food. We had dinner in the Cave. And this is our famous lighthouse. Unfortunately, it has been privatized, so from what I understand, there's no more tours to the lighthouse, which is unfortunate. I've never been. It's just like one of those things you just take for granted. You're like, oh, you'll get there sometime, and then next thing you know, somebody buys it and you can't go in. But still an important part of Negril nonetheless. Then on the right is Whoopi's, which was just a famous chill-out spot back in the day, particularly during the spring break heyday in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now you could either go right or go left, and we're going to go right. Down to the left is the Negril laundromat, and then right here, I guess this officially starts the Deep West End. And I like the Deep West End. It's a very different feel from even the West End, the regular West End, if you will, and a very different feel, more so from the beach road. That's a villa there. I forget the name of it, but we've done a few events there for guests at Travelers. Beautiful villa. I want to say, like, some of the most beautiful properties are on the West End, but also the Deep West. Some of the most beautiful properties in Negril. This is the Cliff Hotel on the right side. I think this is the most beautiful property in Negril. Honestly, like, it's just gorgeous. I was there for dinner the other day, a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact. But really beautiful property. And for whatever reason, every time I've been there, there's like nobody there. But I think they focus more on groups than anything else. But I really don't know their business model. But great hotel, great for dinner as well. Highly recommend them as well. Service is great as well. On top of their cuisine. So these roads are not the best, and you can imagine biking here. So you've got to take it easy. But as you can see, a little glimpse on the right side of your screen, the views here are just amazing, and I've seen some of the most beautiful sunsets back here. And I've said this on the channel before, this is I think this is a great place to invest now, especially like I know there's a lot of people who want sea view, our ocean front, and to get that on the Negril Beach Road is going to be very, very expensive. You know, we're probably talking, at least at this time, what I understand, like depending on the property, $1 million to $1.5 million US dollars per acre. And that might be on the conservative side, to be honest. And again, depending on where it is and what property. Whereas here, you know, I wish I could speak to what you'd pay per acre here, but it's significantly less. It's a lot less developed. But as you'll see as we drive through here, there is a lot of development happening, at least more activity than I've ever seen in recent times. And the types of development that I'm seeing here is mostly villas. And to me, this is like the perfect location, perfect row, if you will, for villas. Treasure Beach has a very similar setup. And there's a part of Treasure Beach where it's just villa after villa after villa after villa. And you're already having elements of this along this deep West End road here. And I think it's perfect, right on the water, just amazing views. You know, I wish we could have got out and shown you, but if you can just imagine, just past these gates, these houses, on the other side, you have just endless views of the sea. And depending on how deep you go, you can actually see the coastline, like looking left and right as you go out to the water. So this is an example of a recently built villa. I don't know the name of it, I don't know the owner, but it's very beautiful. I've seen pictures on Facebook as well. I was actually flying my drone for this property here on the left, somewhere west. We're doing a video for them and working with the owner to help her sell that property. But when I was looking at the drone and looking at that property, it's just really beautifully built, super modern. And again, to me, this is like the perfect location to do accommodations just like that. Or maybe not accommodations, maybe you want to build your dream home. I think this is the perfect place to do it. You're really by yourself, and we're about a little over 17 minutes in. I would say if there is a negative to being back here, it's that it will take you about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown to get here. But some people like that. Some people love that, as a matter of fact. And just something to take into consideration. Coming up here on the right, this is actually a hotel that just never got off the ground. Obviously, it got off the ground, so to speak, but just never opened, really, for whatever reason. I think whoever did this had great vision. I think this was an excellent location to put a hotel, and I think it was also, in a sense, before its time. But that hotel is actually for sale, and it's being sold by actually one of our real estate experts, St. Alban Clark. So if you are interested, let me know if you want to find out a little bit more information on that property. We can St. Alban can give you that information. So let me know. Shoot me a DM on Instagram at Throp, THROP, or you can shoot me an email at Throp, THROP, at thropmedia.com. I always like driving down this road. It's like super smooth, and then as we make a right here, I always imagine like kids in high school doing drag racing down here, but they don't do that here, and don't do that. I'm not recommending that at all. But we are, again, deep West End. Beautiful views on, at least here, you know, I like this. And to the left, you have like the mountains, and then deep into the right, you have this sea, just to give you a little heads up on orientation. Afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. We are in studio today, as I'm sure you can tell. Had to switch it up today. They got some refurbishing happened down at the restaurant here at Travelers. and then also it's overcast. It's like really really overcast. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. Yeah, it's like really really overcast out there too. So it's gonna probably rain at any point in time. So I'd have to run out and grab the camera, and then the restaurant would be crowded inside because not a lot of people are sitting out there. So very happy to have a secondary location for us to be doing this. And I hope everybody's having an awesome Sunday out there. Hope you all had a great week last week. And we have a pretty, I would say, a pretty nice agenda today. I'd like to think so, at least. I feel like it's going to be a very rich one, doing some, what would I say, reviews, if you will, of last week, and then a lot of exciting things to look forward to. And literally, like the next couple of weeks, I think June is going to fly like crazy, at least for me, and also probably even July, as a matter of fact. Lots and lots and lots going on. So excited to be sharing all of this with you and being on this journey with you guys. So yes, today we have, as you can see by the thumbnail, we're just doing some updates on what's happening with the water situation, and then also some updates with the channel and things of that nature. But of course, as usual, let me know where you are chiming in from, what city, what state, what country. Always love to hear it. I think it's a great way for us to connect on a different level, so to speak. All right. Sorry, just pulling up the agenda here. And yeah, I'll just kind of just start going through some comments. What's going on, Phil? How are you? Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for being here. Saw you on the stream on Thursday. Thanks for making it. Thanks for everybody who made it on Thursday, as a matter of fact. Jason likes the thumbnail. Appreciate you. It's this AI technology. I don't know if anybody has messed around with the new Chat GPT update. It's on your I haven't tried this on the computer, but let's see. It's like you can just talk to it, and like I was like literally just talking to it today, this morning, before I came in, just telling them what my live stream is about today, and can you make me a thumbnail? Oh, hold on. Oh, I did it.
It's great to meet you. How's your day going? I'm really looking forward to working on some cool stuff.
And that's like your person, right? And you can choose the voice or whatever, and you can just tell them this AI bot like what you need help with, and then you kind of just have a yeah. So if you guys want to give me a prompt, I don't know, like it's so simple, like it's literally like that's what it looks like, and then you just start talking to it, and it'll like talk to you in like a conversational voice of what you want, and literally give you an image. I mean, I know this is not what we talk about here, but like I find this stuff kind of cool. So let's just do one real quick. If somebody can give me a prompt to, or maybe I can just think of one. So I'll just do it right now, and I'll just show you what it comes up with. Can you give me a thumbnail about the water crisis that we're having in Negril?
Sure, I can help with that. The water crisis in Negril is a significant issue, primarily due to prolonged drought conditions, aging infrastructure, and increasing demand from tourism. These factors have led to frequent water shortages, affecting both residents and businesses. Efforts are being made to improve water management and infrastructure to alleviate the situation. Would you like more details or any specific information included in the thumbnail?
No, whatever you come up with is fine. And let's see what ChatGPT comes out with. All right, we'll see what it comes up with. I don't know. I guess I find this stuff kind of cool. What's going on, Suzette?
The water crisis. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to adjust or add.
So that's what
You can
they
check out the images in our conversation history.
all right, that's what they came up with. And then like what I do is like if I need like whatever the aspect ratio that I need, or I'll iterate, can you take this out? Can you take that out? And it's literally just like a conversation that I'm having with with this bot. And I was like, man, that's pretty crazy. I mean, just thinking of and like it took me like a few iterations to come up with that thumbnail, but very easy, very straightforward to use. And you can use it. Anybody can use that in any sort of situation. Like I think it's great for like ideation of different concepts, for me, like different concepts that I would be doing on the channel or even doing research. Obviously, even just from that little prompt that I didn't even ask for, but it just gave me like all this pretty up to date information on what's happening with the water crisis, and then we can just continue to go down and iterate, and then all of it is also like not only does it like give you like the image and everything like that, but then also as it said, it's like it's all it's all in writing, so they you have you just have a history of that, like you can just always go back on and look back and reference it, and it remembers and learns from the conversation. Again, I just find this stuff like extremely, extremely fascinating, and it just makes me wonder, like, where are we going to go? Where's this going to be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? Who knows? So yeah, that's how we came up with the thumbnail today, and I'm glad you appreciate it, Jason. Ray Thomas, hi Thorpe. Want to be one of the first to say hello to you today. Hello, Ray. Thank you for chiming in. Black Point says, yes, Jamaica investing into stability and infrastructure will pay off double in the future. I agree. Nakasa Construction asks, may I ask, why didn't you guys go up to another floor to add units utilizing the space while maximizing the units? That actually was, you're referring to the cottages, I'm sure. That actually was one of the ideas that we considered, was essentially destroying them and then going up a couple of floors because, like you said, you'd be maximizing on the space. But there was strategic, sentimental reasons as to why we kept the cottages, which was formerly known as the bungalows, which is they were the first buildings that we started the hotel with. I should say my dad started the hotel with, and instead of tearing them down and putting up something new, we decided to maintain it and actually upgrade them, and kind of, as I said in the video, really pay homage to how travelers got started. And now they are one of the, I would say, the highest demand room category right now, because people absolutely love them. And before they were a lot rustic, not as contemporary as they are, as you've seen in the video, and didn't have all the amenities. It was actually fan cooled. It didn't even have AC, as a matter of fact. But upward and onward, as they say, but not a bad suggestion. Copeland Russell says, good news for the water. Hope it comes soon. Same. Karen Reed, thanks for hopping on, chiming in from Facebook. Awesome. Synthwave Pro, good to see you as always. Says hi, Throp and Throppers. Orion, hey, how you? I've been missing for a while. I've been so busy, but thankfully I'm able to tune in today. Hope everyone on the platform is doing great. Great to see you, Oren. Thanks for chiming in. Carlene is chiming in from the UK. Awesome. Red Stripe, happy Sunday went up, and Throp family, happy Sunday to you as well. Dale Clark, happy Sunday, everyone. And shout outs to all my Patreons and channel members. I appreciate you all to the max, And you guys, I know like a lot of like some of the I would say a lot of the stuff that comes through hits my desk are from channel member, I would say subscribers in general, but for sure a large majority are Patreons and channel members, and I really appreciate the effort that you put into doing research on different subjects and making sure that I'm up to date and in the loop. I thank you all so much. I really, really do appreciate it, and it's really, really invaluable because it makes me feel like I'm not the only one who has this high level interest in Jamaica, in Negril, in moving the country forward. There are people who are doing it, seeming like some people like doing this like literally every day, like keeping me up to date, doing their own research, providing me with what they have found and their opinions and everything like that. So I appreciate the support, not only monetarily, but also in the efforts that you're putting in and providing me with knowledge and information and education on a variety of different topics, even things that are outside of Jamaica, but may be relevant to Jamaica, or maybe things that we can learn from other countries and other cities. So always appreciate that from anyone, but most especially the Patreons and channel members. Thank you all so much. Camille, hi everyone. Happy Sunday from New York. Good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. Daddy Ventures, hi Throp and Throppers. Good to see you. Vivian, hello Throppers. Happy Sunday to all. Great information. Thank you. Watching from Grimsby in England. Good to see you, Daddy Ventures from across the pond. Hi Throp, always listening to your interviews. Great channel. Thank you very much. Hi Throp and Throppers, chiming in from the Washington D.C. area. Good to see you, MDL. And also, I just like to remind people that if you do just want the audio version only, Candice has done a really great job on bringing that up to date and giving there's like I think we're fully up to date on that if I'm not mistaken, or quite there, meaning that like all of the recent podcasts, the IREC podcasts that we did, are all there. I know I'm one who likes to maybe start a podcast or video on YouTube, and then as I'm driving home or driving somewhere, continue listening through, as opposed to like leaving the YouTube app open with the commercials. I can just go to the podcast app on my phone and continue listening while I'm driving. So we're fully up to date on that, and that's available to you wherever you listen to your podcasts. And just type in Throp or On Deck with Throp, and you can easily find me there. Chris Grant says, I'm at my son's high school graduation, but I'm still here listening thanks to technology. Big up the Throp crew. Oh, man, that's appreciate you. Appreciate you. Congratulations to your son. I know you are proud and your family is very proud of him. That's awesome. And I appreciate you even making the effort to be here. That's awesome. Special day for you and your family. I'm glad we could be a part of it in this very small way. Congrats to your son again. Blue Planet says manners and respect, Mr. Throp. Good. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's get into all right, slowly transitioning. We got let's stick with what should we stick with? Stick with tourism for a little bit for a second. Or I should say travelers more than anything. I don't know why this thing is not coming out. Sorry, this was on Apple News, but it's not coming out too well on not Explorer, Safari or Chrome. But let's get it up anyway. So, anybody familiar with Travel Noir? It's basically a Black travel publication. They are also what's the other company? I forget the name of the other company. They're both one company, but it's a publication Instagram. They do events as well, and travelers got a feature in it. One of you all sent me sent me this, making sure that I knew about it. And it says 7 Black-owned stays to visit in Jamaica. The next time you're headed to Jamaica, book a stay at one of these Black-owned accommodations to get a hefty dose of tender love and care. And this was on travelnor.com, written by Jasmine Osby. Came out May 31st, 2024. And it reads, Jamaica is a beautiful country and a favorite destination for American travelers. With its tropical breeze, white sandy beaches, and delicious food, folks love to visit the Caribbean island at any time of the year. Black-owned hotels, resorts, and stays have a legacy in Jamaica. Some have been around for more than 20 years and are owned and operated by families dedicated to hospitality and comfort. The next time you're headed to Jamaica, book a stay at one of these Black-owned accommodations to get a hefty dose of tender love and care. And first up is your boy, Travelers Beach Resort. Travelers Beach Resort. For a Black-owned resort experience in Jamaica, book a stay with Travelers Beach Resort. The accommodation was founded in 1992 by Winston Wellington, a famous Jamaican leader in education. Now, the resort is a favorite to play to stay for travelers from all over the world. And like I said, it's not really loading, but they just got some quick stats on here. And it says location, Negril, Jamaica, type of accommodation resort, owners, Wellington family. Before you go, Travelers Beach Resort is located in a great location, just 5 minutes from Negril's town center. And that is true. And I'll read one more because it's in Negril. And so this is Negril Treehouse Resort. We both made it on there. I feel like this is the first time I was telling my brothers this morning. Like I feel like this is the first time that we made it on Travel Noir because they're always listing Black-owned resorts around the Caribbean and sometimes on Jamaica, and they just never mention us. So this was pretty cool to be in here. And then I've been following Travel North probably minimum 5 years, probably more from Instagram. So it's just cool to be recognized in their publication. And so reads Negril Treehouse Resort located on 7 Mile Beach. Negril Treehouse Resort is a favorite for travelers in Jamaica. It has all the vibes of an authentic Caribbean experience with 70 rooms, a spa, food accommodations, and more. Negril Treehouse is the perfect place to catch the island breeze on one of Jamaica's favorite beaches. Their stats located in Negril, Jamaica. Type of accommodation, resort, owners, Gail Jackson. Before you go, since it's located on the beach, Negril Treehouse has access to some of the best seafood on the island. So pretty cool. I'm happy that we were in that publication. I thought that was nice. Appreciate that. What else we got next? I guess we can go into the water stuff, which is pretty much the majority of the content that we have today. Yeah, might as well. Might as well. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so as you all, just making sure that we're all in the same loop and on the same page. I'm sure many people who are listening right now understand or maybe aware that Negril has been suffering like pretty badly with the lack of water here, and it's been going on for an extended period of time, quite a few months, as a matter of fact, and it's been pretty devastating for the entire community, residents and business owners alike. Same thing with hotels. And, I mentioned this slightly last, like kind of low level last week, last Sunday, was talking about how Jamaica overall is doing well from a tourism standpoint. But Negril specifically is down. And we were just talking to one of our travel partners. And I'm like, man, I wonder. And then when I say down, like the forecasting for the future, because when you're always in the hotel business, travel business. I'm sure this goes for airlines and transportation, everything like that. But I can speak specifically for hotels. You're always looking at your pacing of the future, and you look at different time spans. So maybe 2 weeks out, 3 months out, and then you're also looking not only at your occupancy for that time, but you're also looking at the pace in which bookings are coming in for these time periods. And then you're also comparing it to year to date and then also what it was last year at the same time. So, for example, today is June 2nd. Oh, yeah. By the way, today's my brother's birthday, Winfield. Happy birthday, Winfield. Getting up there. I don't know if any of you follow him on Instagram, but please wish him a happy birthday there. And yeah, we went to a movie last night and we're going for dinner tonight. Good stuff, good stuff. But anyway, so today's June 2nd. And so what we'll do is we'll compare even like on June 2nd, 2023, how many reservations did we get? And then we'll do that for the week, we'll do that for the month, and we'll compare. And then we'll also look at, per se, let's say the winter season, right? And that's the most important part of our business, tourism wide, is how good do we look from this point forward? What are our reservations? What are our bookings looking like? Because then, as if you're as a savvy hotelier, a savvy business person, when you're kind of looking at these numbers, it's just like you're trying to figure out why are we doing well? Why are we flat? Why are we not doing so well? And given where we are in the calendar year, is there something that we can do to and adjustments that we can make perhaps to keep up or beat last year, or if we're flat, if we can increase booking somehow, what sort of strategies can we implement to make that happen? And so that's kind of the the idea behind our strategy behind booking and forecasting. So when one of our major travel sponsors say is like, okay, Jamaica is up, Jamaica is doing well, but Negril is pacing behind. Negril isn't. I think to this water situation, and I I'm in a bunch of different Facebook groups, and a lot of people in these Facebook groups has been asking like, does such and such hotel have water? Will I have water when I come to Negril? And I think people are concerned if they're not in the know, especially if they don't know Negril that well, or maybe they don't have direct contacts down here. They are they will be scared and then they won't book the hotel, right? And so I think there's an element of that in terms of our reputation. The brand of Negril has been, I want to say tarnished, but it's definitely been put in jeopardy a little bit, and I think that could be contributing to lower bookings overall. I think I'm just speculating here because I know there are a lot of people who didn't book, are like, I'm going to Mexico. Like I've seen this on these in these travel forums. I'm going to Mexico. I'm not going to Jamaica. I don't want to have to worry about water. And I will say I have to applaud my fellow hoteliers and even hats off to travelers as well. Like we have managed this crisis extremely, extremely well. Unfortunately, there are hotels and businesses alike that have perhaps didn't have certain infrastructure in place to be able to um, I would say weather this storm in a way that wouldn't be disruptive to their guests. And there are, I've heard several hotels have run out of water, and you can't blame them. Nobody bills a hotel to not have water for 6 months. Nobody does that, right? Nobody builds a hotel to even not have water for 3 months or 2 months. You know, you build your backup systems, your backup water systems for, say, a hurricane happens. Like this is like what we're thinking, what my dad was thinking when he built the hotel, and other hotels think. Like if there's an emergency situation where we won't have water for a few days, we want to make sure our water supply is adequate enough to get us through that, but not for 5 months at a time. Like nobody has created a system like that. So there was, especially in the beginning months, it was crazy, and it's still like this, and not crazy, but water trucks going up and down the boulevard regularly, and also very, very, very expensive. We're not paying the same rate that we pay for NWC. Definitely paying a premium for the water that we're getting right now, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later, because there are talks about compensation for that. So you got the expense of, sorry, I don't know why this does that. You got the expense of the water itself, but then I think the bigger expense is the hit to the brand, not just as a hotel, but as a community. And that is something that we're going to have to come back from very, very strongly. And I think, there needs to be more of an effort from a PR standpoint to let people know that, we're okay. As far as like you'll be okay if you're coming to, we'll say that for travelers, like and we've told guests, especially guests who are my subscribers, and they're asking me when they come here, how's the water crisis and how it's going. I was like, yeah, we're still in it, but you will have no idea. You will not feel it. You will not have any clue that we are in a water crisis, water management situation, and that we've been here for months because we figured out a way to manage it, albeit very expensive. And you also got to keep in mind that as hoteliers, or any business, as a matter of fact, when we're doing our projections and when we're setting our room rates for like a year ago, we're not anticipating that our water bill is going to, some cases double. And I'm not speaking just for travel, like this could be any hotel, in some cases double or go X amount more per month, per week. And that is not that was not anticipated. And to do again, I cannot emphasize enough, to do it for an extended period of time, it has been very, very, very rough in that sense. And so that's a big challenge, that like the I would say from a business perspective is the expense of, again, the water, and then the expense of the hit to the brand. And I would love to see a little bit more PR going out there saying like, hey, if you come to Negril, even during this crisis, for the most part, you're visiting here, if you're staying at a hotel, because it's very different. I can't speak for an Airbnb or a private residence, but the majority of established hotels, especially the all inclusives. If you're staying at all inclusive, like you have no idea, like at all. I mean, here, same thing. You will have no idea. You have no idea. I can speak for us here at Travelers, but it is happening, and we are managing it as best as possible. So that's kind of a long-winded way of just kind of bringing everybody up to date as to what the water crisis is and what we've been facing. We also did a live stream, if you want to check it out, with about 4 or 5 community members. We did this a couple months ago, which was great. And from that, we were able to get a meeting with Mr. Samuda, and got some real action. And then we got even further action, which we're going to talk about right now, as a matter of fact, instead of just me going on and on talking. Uh, and let's bring it up. And so let's hop into it. So this was on May 29th. This was last week. $24 billion water project, government tackles problem in Western Jamaica. And this was in the Jamaica Observer, written by Alicia Smith, senior staff reporter on the for the Observer. The government is embarking on a $24.8 billion project that, when completed, should provide significant relief to water supply problems being experienced by Jamaicans in the western section of the island. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, in a statement to Parliament on Tuesday, said that the Western Water Resilience Program will see the installation and replacement of 2 major pipelines, from Martha Brae water treatment plant in Trelawney to Terminal Reservoir in St. James, and the Great River water treatment plant in St. James to Negril, Westmoreland. Describing the project as a major investment, the Prime Minister explained that the upgrades to the transmission mains are being pursued under emergency procurement. The pre engineering phase of this project has commenced at a cost of $32 million. This will last 6 weeks. During that period, the National Water Commission, NWC, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, will complete the necessary technical and administrative work to facilitate the deployment of 160 million US dollars, or $24.8 billion Jamaican, for the installation and replacement of these 2 pipelines, said Holness. He explained that these pipelines between Martha Brae in Trelawney and the Terminal Reservoir in St. James, which were installed in 1982, have completed their useful life, and the material used to build them can no longer stand up, as demonstrated by the recurrent leaks. He said the replacement of the transmission line is now critical to sustain the water supply to communities, hotels, businesses between Montego Bay and Falmouth. Much of it would have been calcified, and when it was laid, it was too small. They didn't think that we would have so many hotels coming, and so it is not merely a matter of just putting in a little pipe. Massive investments have to be made in infrastructure to deliver the water, he said. The pipeline is expected to benefit residents and businesses in St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland, and especially the people of Negril, the Prime Minister said, adding that he has heard the complaints of the people in Negril and that he respects and understands the frustration they are experiencing, which is why the government has taken a strategic approach to address the issue. The government immediate has dealt with the immediate response to the drought. We dealt with some short-term fixes to increase the efficiency of the resources and systems that we already have. We dealt with some of the medium-term solutions, and now we are dealing with the solution that is going to transform water supply for the area, he said. In response to the Prime Minister's statement, Opposition Leader Mark Golding said he is fully supportive of the efforts to ameliorate, I don't even know what that word means, ameliorate the strife being faced by the people and business community in Negril. He, however, queried the anticipated timeframe from the completion of the pipeline replacement project and what impact it is projected to have on meeting the demand for the water in the Negril and wider Westmoreland areas that are currently suffering from this water crisis. Holiness responded to the project for the installation and replacement of the two major pipelines will be done over 3 years. We are estimating that we have about a maximum of $50 million US dollars to start this year. So between getting the engineering and technical work passed in, say, 6 weeks, then we move to other phases that would have to be done: planning, contracting, and so forth. That might take you a few more months. Then after that, as the project starts, it is funded from the reallocation of the capital has been there, he said. Holness said the project is expected to result in substantial increase of water in the area through the various water treatment plants, noting that the Martha Brae will move from 15 million gallons per day, to 20 million gallons per day. Wrong River will move from 15 gallons per day to 20 million. Great River from 12 million to 15 million, and Logwood 4 million to 7 million. In response to a question raised by opposition member Parliament Anthony Hilton, the prime minister assured the greatest precautions will be taken to ensure the best engineering is done. So, I mean, huge announcement. I would say huge announcement because, and like, kind of, this is what I was saying. Somebody had asked me, and I thought this was a great and fair question. Somebody in the chat had asked me, how could you still, talking about me, how could I still, under these circumstances and having inadequate water, how can I still recommend and advocate that people invest in Negril and invest in Jamaica? And my answer to that was is like, this is a short-term problem. Eventually this will be a challenge of the past and we'll move on to the next thing. And it's not like we're dealing with one thing at a time, not by any means, but nonetheless, that was my point. And this is, again, a huge step, a great step in that direction in terms of making this a situation, a challenge of the past. And it also sets us up for the future. The prime minister says it's going to be 3 years. Who knows with these things how long it's really going to be, but the fact that like there's 50 million US dollars allocated for this year, it just tells me like they're moving on it. um as we know, 3 years is going to fly. It probably isn't going to fly for us in the grill, people in the grill, because we need it now. There's another article, I think I read it, like we cannot, the headline was like the grill hotels cannot go through another winter season like this. And it's absolutely true. This would be absolutely insane if we had to do an entire winter season like this. We didn't have an entire winter season like this. We had some of it, but if we don't get this thing, or at least get a plan in place that would allow us to get through the height of the tourist season adequately, or at least a lot more efficient than this year, man, it's gonna be crazy. Hopefully, we've been having a lot of rain. Like I said, we're opening up this podcast, this live stream. It's overcast now. It's probably gonna rain a little later if it isn't raining right now. And it hopefully we keep getting rain. Hopefully we keep getting rain and get us past this period. But who knows what it's gonna be in the fall going into the winter. But hopefully, like this doesn't we don't go through another however many more months like this. Let's get to the comments real quick, and then we'll get to the next article. What's going on, Shauna? Good to see you. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for your support as a channel member and Patreon and all that. I thanked everybody earlier, but you weren't here, so wanted to make sure you heard that. Natalie, good afternoon. Good to have you. What's going on, Lisa? Thanks for chiming in from sunny Connecticut. Awesome. All right, let's get to. All right, Auntie Mary says maybe it's also because it's so expensive. Even basic hotels are charging the same as the others. Room rates are crazy expensive, and $5 for a bottle of water from the supermarket and hotel is crazy. I might be reading your. For some reason, I thought that was about the water crisis, but you're talking about bottles of water. So I might be reading your comment out of context. Could you bring a little context? I'll save it and I can address what you wrote, how you wrote it. But if you could just bring me a little context to that, Auntie Mary, I'll be more than happy to address. Rose Gold says, I heard some parts of Mexico are having a water issue too. Yeah, I was in Tulum in October, and this still hasn't been explained to me, but somebody told us that they were having some water situation, like some environmental problem with the water, because like our water in our hotel, like the shower was salty. I have never experienced that before. It was like it wasn't full on salt water, you know what I mean? Like it was salty, and like even when we asked like the reception, like what's that about? Like they couldn't give us an explanation. So I don't know if that kind of proving your point there, Rose Gold, but I know they have like some environmental issues with this is Tulum specifically that we were in. So I don't know what exactly that's about. C Chizo says, "Good afternoon, people. How much are we paying for 1,000 gallons of potable water now?" I have no idea. I don't know. I should ask my brother actually how much a truck of water costs. Which is more. I think the truck that we get is probably at least 3,000 gallons, and that's kind of I would say, small to medium sized truck. There are much larger trucks that are going up and down the boulevard here. If anybody knows, please chime in. What's going on, John L? Says, checking in, Throp. Thanks for the boots on the ground perspective as always. You're welcome. You're welcome. Appreciate you. Jeff says, it's an uphill fight for Negril, lack of independent government, slow travel from Montego Bay, poor infrastructure for water, sewer, and power, and growing competition from new resorts east to Ochi. Great point. Great point. I was who's I having this conversation with? The last night it was yesterday or Friday, just talking about exactly that, like where Negril is as a community and the challenges that we face. And it certainly shouldn't be kind of like how you said it, like it's these eastern hotels in Ochi and on the north coast versus Negril. For sure, like they're getting like the lion's share of the shine and um resources, attention, etc., etc. Like there's no question about it. There's no question about it. But the conclusion, like we were made on the conversation I was having, is like, man, like we got to do what we got to do at the end of the day. And if it wasn't like taking this water crisis, for example, like if it wasn't for the advocacy of the community, of the different entities, Chamber of Commerce, JHTA, like we wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be reading you an article about 24 billion $24 billion investment going into water, right? So that is concerning, right? Because it definitely is concerning because we don't have, to your point, Jeff, like there's no direct representation from Negril in Parliament. Yes, we have Westmoreland representation, we have Hanover representation, but we don't have direct Negril representation like on a regular basis. And I as I said before, I think we continue to get forgotten about, or perhaps even sometimes not even taken seriously. I also, I was talking to like some friends here, like young friends, young business owners, and we also think like I think people like in Kingston, I think they think like we're very simple people out here because we're country, and there is this feeling like we're just not taken seriously, and it's just so interesting. It's just so interesting, especially like from my perspective, somebody who's seen the grill grow so much, but then also just sees like the crazy potential that Negril has. And we fix one of these things that you're talking about, right, Jeff? Like if we get it, forget it. If we get our own government, like it's off to the races. But imagine we have that highway from Montego Bay to Negril. Like, that's just crazy. Imagine you can there's an event there was, there's an event this week in South Florida that I was considering going to, and I was telling my friend wanted me to go, and I was like, "Man, if I lived in Montego Bay, I probably would be on that flight to go there." But because I have the hour and a half, let's call it 2 hours now, 2-hour drive to the airport, plus when I come back, 2-hour drive back to Negril. It's like, man, that's just too much for me to just kinda pop up for 24 hours and come back sorta thing. And so, even if that with that alone it would be insane. It would be I can't even imagine like, that day is coming. Like, that day, it's going to happen, but I would like, of course, like everybody else, for it to happen sooner rather than later. Will it happen before 2030? I don't know. They're doing updates on the Montego Bay Perimeter Road. I kinda wanna talk about that today. If we have time, we'll get into that. The Montego Bay Perimeter Road and the progress that they've been making with that. But a 30 to 40-minute drive from Montego Bay, man, I think like it's just such it's almost that's going to bring so much commerce, so much business here. That's going to just open up where we can get talent from as well, from the perspective of not just hotels, but even other industries. Just having that access to the second major city in Jamaica, and we don't have a college in Negril, we don't have a high school in Negril. It's not like we can recruit educated talent from within our community. We have to go to people who are maybe lived here, go to school somewhere outside of Negril, and hope they come back so they can help build and grow the community through businesses, or attract other young talented educated people to Negril through some other means. But it's all outside talent. I wouldn't say all, but a lot of our outside talent, the talent that we have, is from the outside. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a uphill battle for sure, but I do think, again, like, this stuff is like short term because the potential is just too much. The potential is just too much, and we've done as a community, like, we've done so much with so little. And obviously, that's probably sounds like a little biased, but that's my perspective, and that's kind of my experience as well. And if we just get even a little help, if we just get even a little more help, it would be incredible. I think this water situation, Prime Minister says 3 years. That's also going to set us up for the I was going to say the onslaught of hotel rooms that are coming within the next 3 to 5 years to this side of the island. We're talking about thousands and thousands of rooms coming to Negril, or the new Negril, all coming from the same water supply location. And this is setting us up to make sure that we have an adequate amount of water for existing residents and existing businesses, but also for the future businesses and many thousands of hotel rooms that are coming. And with those hotel rooms, I'm sure there are going to be a lot more people moving to Negril, a lot more development that is coming. And I alluded to this last week. There are a lot of developments. I would say a handful of nicely sized developments that are coming to this area because they are aware of everything that is coming this way, and has been approved, and people want to get in on that, and we need it. I was talking, same conversation I was alluding to earlier. I was talking to a friend, and we were just like kind of discussing, and I think we talked about this last week as well, like talking about attracting tech to Negril, right? And attracting tech workers, work from home people. And we're talking about, like, how come Negril isn't like a Tulum? And mind you, Tulum is very expensive. I feel like I got to look this up, but I feel like it's definitely more expensive than Negril. I just remember I actually wrote out a spreadsheet because I was so blown away by how expensive, from the taxi rides to the food. It was like almost borderline New York City, like Brooklyn prices that we were paying. And I was like, this is crazy. However, it is still very much attracting this. Remember, during the pandemic, this was a digital nomad hub of the world, and rightfully so. But they also, even though it's expensive, it also gives you a higher, what would I say, a comparable level of accommodation, both on the hotel side and then also on the resident side. I haven't been to residence in Tulum, but I've heard and I see a lot of, when I was driving by and throughout the town, just a lot of advertisement for new luxury buildings, new luxury condos that are coming, modern buildings. And I'm like, man, why couldn't Negril attract this demographic? But the thing is, it's like we don't have the accommodations to attract that demographic right now. And what I mean by that is, like, one, our room inventory, and I keep saying this, our room inventory is very low. And it's particularly during the winter. Please go try to find an Airbnb for 3 months starting from December to March, let's say. You'll have a very warm time doing that. So inventory is low. But then also, when you look at the type of inventory that we have available, it is not meeting the standard of a modern digital nomad traveler, right? So, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way or anything like that, but the reality is the reality. And take, for example, I did the Kingston real estate tour. Let's take it. Let's call it like 2 years ago. And myself and Noel Phillips of Valerie Levy and Associates, we went around Kingston, and we were trying to. Well, I was trying to figure out, like, why is this resident construction boom happening in Kingston? What is driving it? And one of the places that we visited, which actually with Tanya, she's another realtor at Valerie Levy and Associates, was what is it called? 21 South and or 20 South, excuse me, 20 South. And that's some people credit 20 South with the being like the first modern resident that kind of started this movement, if you will. And it's a very modern building in its architecture, and then also even in the amenities with a pool, the granite countertops, the floor to ceiling windows, the balconies. Beautiful spot. We don't have a comparable. We don't have a comparable building or development to something like that. And that, I would say, is the level at which these, I would say, let's call them millennials. Like, and I feel like, and I'm sticking with the millennial generation. When me and my brothers were making plans for the renovations that we're planning to do, hopefully soon in the next few months, one of the things we said was that millennial generation, in terms of the amenities that they're looking for, they actually, there's like they kind of do a Venn diagram of also the older and also younger generation, meaning that the amenities that they're looking for, really, that if we focus on that particular demographic, we also satisfy Gen Z, and then we also satisfy boomers as well. And so that's where our focus has been. And if we're focusing on that for, say, residential accommodations in Negril, the 20 South is what they're looking for. Now, Negril does have villas, right? And the villas in Negril, the handful of modern villas that we have in Negril, they're beautiful, like very, very beautiful. But they're very, I mean, there's like 10 of them, like literally 10 of modern villas that I would say would be at the level of a, let's just call it digital nomad. And we don't have, and even with those, they're very expensive. You're probably looking at $700 to $1,000 per day to rent one of these villas, and some of them are a lot more than that. Some of them are like $3,000 a day, and rightfully so. These things are beautiful. Some of them are right on the beach. Some of them are right on the cliff. Ultra modern, ultra sleek, ultra sexy, like very, very nice. But we do need more accommodations that are modern, that are focused on that demographic if we want to attract that type of traveler. And so it's definitely like a chicken or egg situation in terms of attracting travelers of that nature. All right, let's go to some comments here. Jeff says, with all Negros challenges, it does not stop me from visiting 3 to 4 times a year. Still the best place to hang out in Jamaica. Thank you. I agree with that. Tulum had great branding from influencers and social media. The government also makes it easy to stay there for long periods. During the lockdown, they stayed open and made temporary residence easier to get. Agreed. We haven't done that. We don't have like a temporary working visa here in Jamaica. Mexico, and then Roosevelt continues. Mexico also has a much larger population. Proximity to the U.S. is also a huge advantage. A huge advantage. And you know what? You just made me think of something totally different. But you can look into this yourself. Like I was looking at like the travel warnings, right? And so Jamaica is like level 4, level 3, whatever it is. And then I was like, man, how is Mexico not the highest level? Because and again, I'm not talking. I'm not trying to talk down on another country or anything like that. I'm just more advocating like, why can't we make this fair? Meaning that you can go. You're not going to get. I mean, anything's possible, but the likelihood of you getting kidnapped in Jamaica versus Mexico, like it's not going to happen. That's not what we are known for. You might get scammed or you might pay a little bit more, but like you're not going to get kidnapped here. Mexico, that likelihood is however many X higher. And so I looked at the travel warning for Mexico and it doesn't like that's not reflected. And what they did was actually it's like pieced by region. So there's travel levels for certain regions, but not the country as a whole. I found that very interesting. Why don't they do that for Negril? Negril would be like level 1, right? And maybe some garrison would be level 4 or 5. But Mexico, they have the advantage or privilege of having it kind of diced up. And I just found that interesting. Like it didn't make any sense to me. And it's also very, very unfair. And like, please, somebody justify that to me. So again, not talking down about Mexico. I love it there. I would go there. My dad was very scared when I was there. He's like, please don't. Like, but my dad is all in the news and like, and I mean, and it's kind of like, a few weeks ago, there were 3 surfers that were unfortunately lost their lives while they were in Mexico just surfing. And for no reason. Like I just like, well, why didn't they just rob them and just leave them alone instead of taking their lives? Like really sad situation. So I don't get that. Is what I'm trying to say. I don't get that at all. But I think the grill can be this destination for the work from home crowd in a big way, but we don't have the accommodations. I mean, I think they're coming. I think they're coming, but I would like to see it come even faster. And that's going to pump so much money into the local economy because most of those people they're not going to be staying at all inclusive. Like it doesn't even make any financial sense because a lot of them are paying rent wherever their home is as well and keeping their stuff there. But they're probably going to rent an apartment. They're going to go to the grocery store. They're going to eat out. They're going to want to go. They're not going to always want to work from their apartment. They're going to come to a place like Travelers, have breakfast, set up their laptop, and work all day on the beach. And they're going to go to the next person. They may go out in the evening, get some jerk chicken on the road, take a taxi. They're more than likely not going to have a vehicle, so they're going to be using public transportation. So I think it's a great opportunity for the country, and maybe one day we'll get some sort of digital nomad visa as well. Rose Gold says it's a great place, but it's always based on location. People retire there and go down for medical tourism. I think Mexicans are great advocates of their country, despite a few bad stories. Agree. I like it there. I'm gonna go back there. I wish I was gonna go this year, but probably not this year. But definitely next year because I also feel like there's so much to learn from them. There's so much to learn from them when you look at a Tulum. I mean, it's like it's a machine. It's a machine how they have this thing set up, but it doesn't feel like it. It's very
I mean, I was gonna say it's I felt very safe, but like one of the day, I think the second day that we were there, some dude got robbed. I think like his backpack stolen off of him, and they try and chase the guy down, and he just never caught him. But that can happen anywhere. Like I felt very safe walking up and down. We were told not to walk on the beach at night, which we didn't. It was fine, and I think there's a lot to learn from how they have like their tourism structure in terms of how their beach is set up. I think there's a lot to learn from their construction and residential setup there as well. And I'll be going back for sure. Chantel says Jamaica with Irie debunked the travel warning. It's hot BS served on fancy crackers with cheese. It's amazing how people will allow others to inform their opinions without doing their own research. Also, crime in Jamaica never been random, and the crime rate has dropped. Like I said, the travel warning is BS. Yeah, that's one thing I would say that with Jamaica, it doesn't, not to say it doesn't happen, but Jamaica's crime is not randomized. It's not opportunistic, generally speaking, especially here. Like it's very unlikely you're going to be walking in like somebody's just like randomly going to come and be like, give me your wallet. Not to say it doesn't happen. It has happened, probably will happen again in the future, but it's not something that is of a regular occurrence. It just isn't, and that's lucky. But on the other side, we have our domestic violence and domestic challenges to deal with. Daddy says maybe the U.S. wants to boost tourism there to reduce, so that they can keep their more of their stuff in their own country. Yeah, I would say a lot of justifiable conspiracy and speculation because it just doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. They're obviously doing something. Even with the travel warning, people were talking about what Jamaica that is. People were talking about this may be a response to the relationship or the growing relationship that Jamaica has with China. Maybe, we have BY. I love talking about this. We have BYD here in Jamaica. They build your own dream, the electric vehicle, which is a electric vehicle company that is going to surpass Tesla inevitably. Even Elon Musk said it himself. So that is here in Jamaica, and I think based on being at the International Real Estate Conference last month, they are going to take over Jamaica as far as electric vehicles go. I'll say that right now. It's like that's almost like a foregone conclusion at this point in time. Tesla hasn't even, as far as I know, they haven't tried to come to Jamaica, and maybe we just don't have the numbers. But I think from a branding storytelling perspective, they should have been here, and they should have been here in a strong way. And BYD is here instead, and people are gonna soak it up and hug it up. And I've sat in it, a vehicle. It's a nice vehicle, super modern. Haven't driven in it, but super modern, super futuristic in many senses. So there you go. Fuzzy Don says, so much hotels coming to Jamaica and infrastructure development. 3 airports are, I believe you mean fully active. Returning residents, expats, and influx of YouTubers. You guys still complaining about Bro God. Yeah, he's doing a good job in my book. Of course, he's not perfect by any means. Who is? But we're definitely, in my opinion, we're definitely moving in a very, very strong and positive direction. Jeff Rogerson says, I always felt safe in Mexico and Jamaica. I stick mainly to the usual tourist areas and use the same common sense as when at home. Same here. Same here. Felt very safe. No, at no point was like, should I be here doing that? There are other countries, which I've told you guys stories before about that. Raymond Bernard says, we can debate the issue of climate change, but the fact is that many places, Mexico City, Cape Town, Belize, are facing a water crisis. The only permanent solution is invest in desalinization plants. That is, I think that has come up several times, as a matter of fact. I don't know much about like the technology and the technical aspects of it, but it sounds on the surface, it sounds like the way to go. Nikasa says, let's do a group investment and build an airport in Orange Hill. There actually already is an airport coming to Negril. Well, we have an aerodrome, which is not a full airport, but it can take like small planes, and they're looking to expand it or relocate it and make it much larger. And they're going to make that into an international airport. That would I don't know how far that would be. Like the runway, we've gone through the math. I remember Jeff like giving us information on that, on how long the runway would be and the type of planes that we'd be able to take. But the grill is going to get an international airport. KJ Martin says Tulum has an issue with underground aquifers that have been polluted because of the unplanned development. There you go. Jeff, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Peace and love. Thank you for the donation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, Oren says Ocherias is booming with construction, lots of residential and commercial building. The traffic situation is becoming like Kingston. Peak hours sometimes are gridlock crawling for sure. I don't know the name of that road, but like where the somebody can help me out here, like where the Knucksford Express, um, that that's I don't know if you call that the center or the like that commercial space. I think they got a KFC there, they got a Starbucks there. Like that road, that is like the worst road. Like if you're driving, like anytime I'm driving on the north coast to Kingston, man, it's crazy. But yeah, I wonder what that population increases that was or is or has been in the last, I would say 3 to 4 years from a percentage standpoint. Like huge. Um, yeah, they got to figure that out. And I don't know the geography of that area too well. If there is an opportunity to create some sort of bypass road or something like that, or even connect to the highway, I have no idea. But you're right. That thing is getting crazy. And same with Negril. Same with Negril. And there are times where you're especially going downtown. Like sometimes I think I was like, man, like when it first started happening, I was like, is there an accident or something on the road? And it's just congestion, people going about their business, doing our quote unquote rush hour. In the evenings is mostly when it happens, or at least that's when I get caught in it. And yeah, they like, especially with all these rooms coming, like there has to be something done about it. And I hope the powers that be are thinking ahead and putting plans in place to really help mitigate against future gridlock that is inevitable. And I'm telling you, in like literally probably 2 years from now, people are going to be complaining about the traffic in the grill, like badly. And that too can ruin tourism. That too can really slow us down if like it gets to a point where it's just like nobody wants to traverse the roads and people will just stop going about their business and commerce will slow down. And then we're like kind of like the water crisis now. Then we're going to do something about it, right? It's just like when the problem reaches a fever pitch and then we put things in place. Like we don't want to get to that point. Like we know what's going to happen. Let's try and do something about it sooner rather than later. Oh, I was like, why is somebody talking about Brogat? But I see, I see where you're getting this from. Philly Yachty Vibe says, where is the initiative for greater water harvesting and solar energy? People cannot put the faith in Brogat wholeness. The guy is ultimate flip flopper. Your opinion, and I will leave it there. Let's see. Philly Yard continues down here. The Bahamas has some travel advisory as Jamaica thus debunk China phenomenon. Tesla is too expensive and cannot compete with BYD in Jamaica. A price cut. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think with BYD, Tesla, like they got to do something to become more competitive. But I don't. They might not be able to, and that's the nature of competition. I'm not to say one over the other, but remember BYD was nothing, and perhaps yes, the price point it is a factor to take into major consideration for sure, BYD versus Tesla. But remember, there was no BYD even in discussion remotely in the atmosphere 3 years ago, 5 years ago, right? And so Tesla had the market completely captured. And as far as like the expense goes, and I don't know if you mean this from the can Jamaicans afford a Tesla? They absolutely can. Remember, we have a Porsche dealership here. We have a Range Rover dealership. Um, the cars that I see on the road, we have people importing Ferraris. We have people importing Tesla, and there is no Tesla dealership in Jamaica. The vehicles that I'm seeing on the roads, it's crazy. It's crazy. Jamaica has money. I mean, it's not in abundance, but like there are people, Jamaicans, who are doing very well for themselves, very, very well for themselves, and they can afford these vehicles. At what scale and how many people can afford these, I don't know. But we have a Porsche dealership. Porsches are like everywhere here. I mean, they're almost like a Honda Civic. Maybe I'm obviously being facetious, but there are so many of them on the road, especially the Porsche Cayennes. Like those are so regular, so regular. And that kind of just tells me is like, okay, there's something going on here. Even when the Porsche dealership first came to Jamaica, I was like, damn. And it's not just one. There's one in Montego Bay and there's one in Kingston. I was like, damn, that's saying a lot. 1035 Knox says Jamaica will fail for the average Jamaican because it's not growing either organically or agriculture. I'm not sure. Organically, I say here. Organically, if the growth is not for Jamaica, it's driven by international interests. I, I will say that that could be the future. That could be the reality, right? But I also believe that we are at a great inflection point, and there is much that we can do to make sure at the current stage that we find ourselves to make sure that the direction and the trajectory that we're currently on not only that doesn't benefit a very few. It doesn't benefit a small percentage, but it benefits on average all Jamaicans, the majority of Jamaicans. And I think that is very, very possible. I believe it's very, very possible. And it's a matter of being strategic in terms of who we partner with, what are the terms of those partnerships, where our focus is made from a decision making standpoint and an investment standpoint. And there could be, I mean, I think Jamaica is going to be just a different country in 20 years from now. And we have to think 20 years from now. And 20 years is going to fly. And it's going to fly in different ways. But like we just have to look at it from a historic standpoint. Even from the situation of the constitution reform, I guess it's like we're going to be like a new country I know we have our independence, but in a big way we're going to be like a new country, and like we are living through like history, and us as a country, like we have an opportunity here. I keep saying that, like there's an opportunity to like really make Jamaica into a country where like the world can be proud of, not only us as Jamaicans. And I think we can do that in a big way. All right, let's keep going here. Nay says, that's the North Coast Highway by Drexel. Drexel, yeah, exactly. Traffic is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There actually is a back road bypass. I didn't know about that back road bypass. I gotta, I guess, Google Maps that next time I'm in the area. Yeah, Beetle, thank you all for that, letting me know where that is. Kuya says they're widening that highway to 34 lanes plus. They are 3 to 4 lanes. I'm assuming 3 to 4 lanes. They are continuing the Highway 2000 from Miami Bay, St. Anne to Montego Bay, Trelawney border. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, it's much needed. Yeah, 4 lane, 4 lane. Okay, 4 lane. I figured. Nay says there actually is a road bypass, but mostly only taxis and buses know the route. and are daring enough to take it. It goes behind St. Anne's Bay to some unpaved roads. Got you. Natalie asks, do you think the impending traffic will be year round in Negril? It's so the impending traffic I'm specifically referring to is really downtown Negril, and Travelers is fairly close to downtown. So the traffic will be backed up from the roundabout all the way to Travelers. Let me see if I can bring up a map for you. And so I think it'll be kind of year round, like just like rush hour in say New York City, like it happens at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6:30 or whatever, right? I think that could become a reality. And so just showing you here on the map. This is where are we? Oh, sorry. So here's the roundabout downtown, and then up here is Travelers. So I mean that's a good distance. That I want to say is probably like maybe 6 to 800 meters to the roundabout, maybe 700 meters to the roundabout from travel. I just know because I run it. So the traffic will be backed up all the way there. And what it is like people splitting off to the west end and people splitting off on Nampro Road towards Little London Sav. And then you have a bunch of different shopping plazas along here that people are coming in and out of. People are coming from Red Ground. This is Fire Station Road. It might make sure I'm looking at the right word. Yeah. So this is Fire Station Road here that people are coming out of. The fruit and vegetable market is here. So it slows down traffic and it kind of backs it up again, sometimes all the way up to Travelers a certain time of the day. There was a big party, a bunch of parties last week. There was Mayhem, there was Mocha Fest, and a couple of other local parties as well. And the traffic on the road was crazy. It was if anybody has ever been here doing Dream Weekend, especially when it was not Mocha Fest, when it was Mayhem, which was up by Long Bay Beach Park, which is here. Like like people took like an hour to get through. I heard took me at least half an hour, 45 minutes to get past maybe 250 meters. To do the math on that, like 250 meters just to get past the party. But that's what happens when there are events in Negril. Like that boulevard gets shut down. Dream Weekend, same thing. Absolutely ridiculous. If you're a resident here, you're moving before and after the parties, never during, never when the party is like ending. Forget about it. Forget about it. All right, let's keep going here. Where are we? Jem says, just make sure y'all buy an acre of land. Not a bad idea at all. Rose Gold said, let me look up the stock options with BID. Not a bad idea at all with that one either. Alfonso says, Negril and Westmoreland in general are poised for many luxury developments. The developers of the Pinnacle recently both bought 3 plots of land at a value of $850 million US in that area. Interesting. I didn't know that. Do you know where, Alfonso? 1035 Knox says the world leaders are trying to have an open border, so everywhere have to be developed. Brogard is just doing what he's told. If development had to do with a good leader, we would have grown already. It's the owners that want it, not us. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that because there is a lot there's a lot of historical context with that. It's like it's hard to blame and this goes for any leader, right? It's hard to blame a leader for something that they inherited, right? And I always think back to like Obama and like what he inherited and what he like, and people were blaming him for the financial crisis. Like that's crazy. Like how could you blame him for the financial crisis? Like he inherited it and managed it, right? And so I think there needs to be a lot of context with that. And to me, it's like it's important to hold leaders accountable for how they deal with the situation. Like for example, this water crisis situation, like how we're going to hold you accountable for your word and what you promised, and also making sure like we're in a crisis situation, make sure that you hear us and that you do something about it. And he did, and in a big way, and it's very very appreciated. Would we have liked there to be more proactivism with it? Absolutely. But that wasn't the situation. So to me, that's like the way it's important. What I'm trying to say is like it's very, very important that we do hold our elected leaders accountable, and we just don't kind of allow things to just be the way that they are. Because it's not just to benefit us, it's to benefit future generations. And I think if somebody had done this, what we're doing maybe 20 years ago or something like that, maybe this water situation, maybe not the water, like who would have known that Negril would be growing at this rate? But we in Negril knew that. We knew we needed an upgrade in our system. But my point is that perhaps if 20 years ago somebody did advocate for water and everything like that that we did now, that we're doing now, we wouldn't be in a situation now where it had to be pushed and made a priority because of a crisis. You never want to do that if you can avoid it. Steve Stevens says, I was told Jamaica doesn't have not one precious metals dealer on the island. Jamaica should be exploring the avenue. Orange says, Throp, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Seoul Harbor, 2 blocks of 8-story condos being constructed in Ochi. It's a few stories up, not yet finished, but I heard they are sold out. You can look it up. I'll check it out. Let me let me screenshot that. Cool. I'll check it out. Jam says they need more manufacturing jobs like car plants. I agree that I think that would do wonders for the country. Oh, a lot of comments here. I'm gonna try to breeze through these quickly. Narcissist says, what do you think about the negative highlight Trinidad is getting? Do you think it will hurt their image? Are you talking about Christmas list getting arrested? Let me know if that's what you're talking about, Narcissist. Copeland says Jamaica is a first world country. I think we're well on our way. I guess you are talking about Chris. Courtney says Chris went to violent areas in Jamaica, not arrested, goes to Trinidad, arrested. I guess they are trying hard to hide it. Yeah, I didn't see the video. Did he get released? And for those that don't know what we're talking about, there is this YouTuber Chris Must List, and his type of content, he travels all over the world to like very dangerous parts of the world and dangerous communities within those dangerous countries, and he showcases what's happening in those areas, and he links up with like a lot of gangs and shows the parts of the country that are perhaps not normally seen on by the media or the internet. And he went to Trinidad, did the same thing, linked up with some gang members, showed off some guns and all this, and he got arrested by the Trinidadian government. Daddy Venture says we need to invest in other infrastructures other than roads to enhance travel in Jamaica, like trains. Steve Stevens says Chris lives in an upscale area in Toronto, drives a Lambo, but travels to mostly black countries to showcase the slums and bad areas. Yeah, definitely conflicted with that one. Douglas Joseph says, bless up, joining, watching from California. Wagwan, Jamaica, Negril don't need no international airport. Negril need a bypass road similar to Montego Bay, bypass for Lucy, Green Island, and Negril instead of wasting on an airport that will only benefit a few. I disagree. I think Negril needs both. We need, and again, I've stated this before. We got to understand too that we are not competing. That we are competing globally. We are competing against Tulum, we're competing against an Acapulco, we're competing against Bogota, Medellin, and we need to make sure that the amenities and what we have to offer are either on par or even, I would even say, surpasses these other locations. And this is the way that we're going to be able to win. And so, for example, Tulum, they got an international airport. So you can fly directly from Atlanta. I think at least the only one that I know about is Atlanta. You can fly directly from Atlanta right into Tulum Airport and be, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes from your hotel or your Airbnb or whatever, instead of taking a 2-hour drive. I think the and I also think like there's just so many more cars coming on the road, and we need to be able to just get more cars off the road, and whether that's through people flying here instead, or bike path and making it more walkable and planting more trees. I have like a lot of ideas about this, but I think we got to get more cars off the road. But at the end of the day, I think we need both. I definitely think we need both. Dosi Do says, just imagine the traffic to the West End from the roundabout in 20 years. Yeah, if we don't do something about it. If we don't do something about it. But I really think that a lot will be done about it. Rose Gold says, do Jamaicans have an issue with foreign investors as a whole, or is it specifically about white, Arab, Asian people? Is there an issue with investors being within the diaspora? Good question. I don't think so. I mean, speaking for myself, I don't have any issue with foreign direct investment at all. I really don't. I think we need it. We can't grow the country ourselves. Like, what are we producing? What are we producing that's going to grow our GDP? What are we exporting at scale and at mass? How else are we going to do it? But what I would say, I think we have so much opportunity from the diaspora, and I hope this is a good opportunity to talk about the diaspora conference coming up in a couple of weeks. And I would like to see more, a lot more. I mean, at least double the amount of Jamaican diaspora investing in Jamaica, because there are so many other people doing it. And it's like, I think we're starting to get it. I really do. I do think we as Jamaicans living abroad, and not just the diaspora who, and I don't know what to call this, but like not just the diaspora who were born here and moved abroad and spent the majority of their building their career abroad, and then are considering moving back and are investing here, but also the offspring of those diaspora. And we had a great conversation on Thursday on my live stream with the president of VM Group and the president of UTEC, talking exactly about that. And the question that I asked Mr. Campbell, president of VM Group, was, how has the diaspora contributed to the forward movement of Jamaica, and how can they get more involved, and what more can they do? And he made some very great points, but he mentioned how they've contributed. Was one of the main ways they've contributed is through remittance and sending money back to Jamaica. And he talked about how much money they increased the amount of remittances through COVID, and they decided to support Jamaica more than anything else through this crisis situation that the world was going through. And that was a part of his response in a way. And then we went over to Dr. Brown, who's the president of UTEC, and he brought up the remittances, but he also made mention that the children of the diaspora, who are first generation born Americans, who are Jamaican by blood, that they are they are not a generation that is going to be sending money back to Jamaica. It's not something that they grew up with, and they are not used to it and cannot comprehend the concept. And he was basically saying that there is going to be a shift in remittances coming back to Jamaica. He said it's not going to end, but there is going to be a slowdown. And the sentiment that I got from him was like, these kids who are going to be going into their careers are like, I've worked hard for my money. Why am I sending it to Jamaica? Why am I sending it back? And so he believes that there is going to be a shift, and that what he was alluding to is like, we do need to figure out something. And this cannot necessarily be something that we're going to continue to rely on, but more so we got to focus on being more productive as individuals and as a nation. At least that's what I took from him, his statements. And I thought that that was something to make note of. And I understand it psychologically and understand where they're coming from. And it's interesting that he brought it up. So to your question, Rose Gold, me personally, I have no issue with foreign direct investment. I think it's absolutely necessary. But I would like to see way, way, way more of the diaspora investing in Jamaica. And like I said, there are so many. Alfonso just said the Pinnacle Group just invested $850 million in this area, US. I'm just like, I'm not saying invest $850 million here or anything like that. If you got it, you got it. But what I am saying is like, man, if they're doing it as a group and they see the potential, it's like, man, why can't we? Why don't we? More than anything else, it's like, yo, this is our country, and this is our opportunity. We're heading in this crazy direction with this crazy opportunity that we've never, never, never had before. It's like, what else do you need to see? What else needs to turn around? What needs to happen in order for you to be like, all right, I'm going to buy an acre of land, as somebody said, or I'm going to invest in this business, or I'm going to do farming, whatever it is. It's here, it's happening. Alfonso says in Hopewell, Hanover. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Hold on. One sec. I don't want to take your comment out of context here. So many comments. I think I got it. Alfonso Worth, Throp, when you are going to do a podcast on the oil exploration that's going on in Walton Morant Basin, offshore Jamaica, they recently had a conference in London, over 7 billion barrels of oil. Okay, that is not what I was looking for. Let me screenshot that. Thank you for that, Alfonso. Always bringing us these gems of knowledge. Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about Hopewell, Hanover. Just correct me on that. And talking about specifically the Pinnacle investment that you had mentioned earlier. All right, let me go up to some other comments. Heard on the news that there are unplanned settlements in Negril called Little Haiti, causing problems for law enforcement. Yeah, so Little Haiti, I know Little Haiti is it's an unplanned settlement, and it's like one of those things. And this is where, and I'm not one to point fingers at government. I am very much like we need to point fingers at ourselves. Like, what can we do? How can we hold them accountable? But this is definitely one of those situations where I'm like, y'all let this get out of control. There's nobody else that we can point at. Y'all let this get out of control. And with Little Haiti, it's an unplanned settlement. It's a squatter community. And I remember I went over there because the Negril Recycling Center is there. And this is a Negril Chamber of Commerce initiative. And I used to be very, very involved in the Negril Recycling Center when I was the first vice president of the Chamber of Commerce. And I was going there pretty regularly. And this was, let's call this maybe 2015, 2016, something like that. And going there for regularly dropping off recycling material. And then I probably didn't go back for another 5 years. And I had to go back. I don't remember what I went back there for, but I couldn't find the place. I drove past the road I was supposed to go down because I was like, what's going on here? Because I was like, I don't remember this house. I don't remember this. And then I literally had to ask somebody. I was like, "Where's the recycling center?" And then a kid pointed me down this road, and I go there and I get to the opening where the recycling center is, and I couldn't believe the development that happened around it. And it was just like this huge squatting community. And it's probably hundreds of families, easily hundreds of families that like and homes that I never seen before. And I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. How could this happen in such a short period of time? How could you allow? And I don't know what measures and policies are in place to mitigate against this, but now you have a community of people who at this point have been there for years, years and years and years, probably have had children there, they have dogs, and that's what I've been told. Like once they have a dog or animal, it's over, they're not moving. And so now the situation is, and this is in Whitehall as well. And now the situation is, now you got to go find homes for these people, because what are you going to go there with a bulldozer and tell everybody to leave and go home? It's like, no, it's out of control. It's like it's literally out of control. And of course, law enforcement is going to have a challenge with that. Of course, you're going to have a challenge with that. It's a nightmare situation, and yeah, they're going to have to do something about it. And that I was like, man, that's government's fault, because nobody else could do something about it. And it's like, what do you do when you start to see like inklings of a settlement of our squatting comes in place, and you have to do something, you have to put an end to it, because like if you don't stop it, it'll end up like this situation. But thanks for the opportunity to talk about it, Martin. I haven't been there in a while, but if you're saying this is a problem, I'm sure it's probably even worse than what I've seen it last time. Jem says a lot of Jamaicans feel like they're being left behind because foreigners and expats, they are all flashy cars, houses, and are stuck because there are no jobs. No, there are jobs. I wouldn't say there are no jobs. I think I have a lot to say on this. Yeah, I'm not one to agree with the flashiness. I think that's ridiculous. We're essentially in a poor country, or at least a lot of people like are on the poverty line, and it's just like, I was talking about Porsches and stuff earlier. Like, that's just not me. Anyway, and I'm not judging anybody who has one. I'm sure you've worked very hard for that, and you deserve it for sure. But with the man, we got really way off track. I was supposed to read this other article on the on the water situation. So with the with the job situation, like there are jobs. The minimum wage went up to $15,000 yesterday, as a matter of fact, from $13,000, which I think is great. But I keep saying this, like as a society, Jamaica, like we need to become more productive. Like that's what it comes down to. And going back to the conversation that I had with Dr. Brown, for the UTEC president, it's like we need to educate more of our people, and then give them opportunity and create opportunity for themselves, or allow them to create opportunity for themselves more than anything else. But at the end of the day, I think we need to be just more productive as a nation. Shana says, Little Haiti in Florida. Is there a Little Haiti in Jamaica? No, Little Haiti is that's the unofficial name of the place. And you can imagine, based on what's going on in Haiti, why they call it Little Haiti. At this point, Rose Gold says, at this point, homeownership is more affordable for me in Jamaica than in Canada. I'm ready for the opportunities. Yeah, I mean, then people also say like that's the problem, that's a problem, right? And because this is kind of happening all over the world, where like New York is too expensive, you can't buy a home there, and then people move to Florida, is much cheaper and more affordable, and then so many people move there, and now Florida is becoming completely unaffordable, especially South Florida and Miami. And so it's like this balloon, you squeeze here and it blows up here, and like this continues to happen all over. And Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to like how to stop that or how to like level that out. All right, I think we can take a quick break. Let's see what we're gonna put on here. Let's go to let me see, the third driving video. Let's go to part 3. All right, take a quick break and I'll be right back. Hope you guys are enjoying the tour so far. If you are, let me know. Put it in the comment section. If you have a favorite part, let me know. You can also put that in the comment section. And if you're interested in any of the properties that I've mentioned and want more information, of course, no commitments by any means, but it's always good to gather information as it relates to investing or understanding the dynamics of a community or an area as it relates to real estate. So coming up here on your right is Jackie's on the Reef, which is another one of my absolute favorite spa massage places to go to. This is a super zen place. If this, you want to find a place that you need to recalibrate, adjust your mind, like that is the place. And Jackie is just an amazing person. And if you know her, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And here on both sides of the road, this is West Ender Inn, another great property on the West End. They have both sides of the road, so you have sea access on the right here as the camera pans over there. Beautiful views on those buildings there, looking out to the sea. And this is west, right? So this is deep west. So you can imagine what the sunsets look like from these properties. They are absolutely gorgeous. I think the best in the world. And I do not apologize for that at all. I've seen sunsets from all over the world, and I have yet to see one that really beats Negril, especially deep west. And so you can go that road, and you're basically heading south at that point. I think we're actually heading south now. Yeah, we are heading south at this point. Southeast, I should say. And that'll take you to like Little London. And then if you've been paying attention on the channel, when we talk about the Little Bay development, that's also in that direction, like Jam West Little Bay. But that's literally you're on the coast going down there. But it's not a road. You'd have to, I don't know how you do it, but from what I heard that apparently they're building a road right there to connect Deep West End and that. So who knows? This is Honeycomb Ave here on the right. There are houses that people have bought the land and built there. Close family friend used to live there, couple, but they unfortunately they passed away. But my dad and his friends, they used to go there all the time to play dominoes, and great place to watch the sunset. And those were just some really, really good times back in the day. So now I would say we're kind of heading back to civilization, if you will. Again, not the greatest of roads here, so we're just taking our time. I don't have a truck, I have a car that's not the best for traversing these potholes, but it works. But yeah, so we're gonna be basically heading back to downtown Negril at this point, as soon as we get up this hill and around the bend. And this is the first, I would say, driving tour that we will be doing, but we'll do this again. We'll do another one for Negril because we only covered the West End, and then we have like the whole beach road. And I would even say Nampro Road would be, it's not that long, but there's a lot to talk about with Nampro Road, especially when it comes to development and when it comes to
understanding the future of Negril. That is Mr. Hogg's house. This is what is known as Hog Heaven, and this is owned by a very prominent Negril family, the Hoggs. And if you want a piece of property back here, if you're interested in, you'll have to go through the Hoggs, and that's I believe that's my dad's friend that I was mentioning before. That's who he bought his property from. And as we're driving, just want to remind you guys about ThropX, and it's coming up in November. And if you want to learn more about investing in Jamaica in general and real estate, like this is definitely the conference for you. And it continues to be just a high level of interest in investing in Jamaica, and particularly buying land and building homes in Jamaica. And of course, I am super, super biased, so I will always, not always, but I will always put Negril first, and show you and just because I know the most about this area, and I will show you what there is to offer. And if I don't know, I will put you in touch with people and experts who know more about this. But tickets are for sale on thropx.com, www.thropx.com, and it's going to be an awesome event. If you know Amashika Lauren, who is the host last year, she is confirmed for being the host this year. She's absolutely amazing, super, super talented. She's doing some really awesome stuff in her own career, and she's just one of those people that, in my opinion, that are just gonna just blow up at some point in time. And I feel very fortunate and special to have her as part of the ThropX team, and in a real sense being the face of it. And I know she's gonna kill it. She killed it last year. She's excited, and so am I. Extremely, extremely excited. We are moving towards downtown Negril. I don't know the names of these little communities. I believe we're moving into Good Hope, and I know somebody's gonna kill me in the comments and say, no, it's such and such. But yeah, let me know. Like I said, I like riding my bike through here in the morning. As you can see, there's almost no traffic at all. Only thing you gotta worry about is these dogs. I don't know why. There's always this group of dogs right here at this hill. They just come after me. The same hill that we're going up. I don't know where that road leads, but I've never been up there. But they always come at you on an uphill where you can't ride away from them. But always get away. I've never had any issues. Just a little quick few second chase, and then they run out of breath, and I usually outride them. At least I have outridden them 100% of the time so far. Hopefully I can continue my streak. Hope you guys are enjoying the tour so far. And if there is an area that you want to see me tour or do something similar to this, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to. Perhaps we can do one to Sav and maybe to Montego Bay. I don't know if you like these kind of things. If there's maybe a topic that we want to cover, I can kind of do it while we take a little drive together. But yeah, let me know what you all think about this. But I think this is a good break for the live stream as well. So at least you're getting a bit of an education at the same time while I'm able to take a break. I'm sure I'm probably eating something right now while you all are watching this. I don't know what I'm talking about here in the car, but I hope it's something interesting. I can't really hear.
All right, we're back. Probably only got another 15 to 20 minutes. I got maybe only 15 minutes actually. I got to run. But thank you, Jeff. I'm just seeing the donation. You did that about almost an hour ago. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the donations and support for sure. Let's get through some more comments here. Very opulent Negus says, I moved from Florida 2 years ago and I've been building a property in Port Moore, which I've been documenting on my channel. To see how much it is developed is mind blowing. It's awesome. Congrats to you. Um, Also says the wave is forming, and sadly, most of the diaspora won't see it until it has already formed. Yeah, I hope that that's not the case. Like I said, the diaspora conference is coming up on the 16th of June, and really, 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 I think it's an important. I'm gonna put the link in the description here and the comments here. Excuse me, for you to check out. But it's a great way, and I understand people's reservations, right? And you gotta, as an investor, you gotta get to a point where you are comfortable putting down a significant amount of money, and significant could be any amount. Significant could be $1,000 for somebody. It could be $100,000 for another person, or $1 million for another person, right? It's all relative. But I think how you mitigate against that worry, that risk, is through educating yourself. And I think the Jamaica Diaspora Conference is a very good way and a very good opportunity to get an understanding of the opportunities that are happening in Jamaica, but also getting an understanding of the direction that Jamaica is going in and what plans are afoot, and also being amongst your peers as well to learn about what they're doing. Like very opulent Negus is saying, is he moved from Florida 2 years ago and he's setting up his camp in Port Moore. Maybe he's going to be there and you want to pick his brain. Why did you choose Port Moore? What was your motivation behind leaving Florida? Did you have any considerations of going to a country other than Jamaica? What made you ultimately choose Jamaica, right? And these conversations are very, very powerful, and it's difficult to have. It's great that we have this community. I think it's so important, but it's very difficult to have like those in-depth conversations with a multitude of people who are all under one roof. I think that any a conference of this nature will help to educate you, and I think the more of these that you can go to, the better. The better, especially with all that's happening in Jamaica, because it's very hard to understand the magnitude and the scale at which things are happening here, because it's not like it's just one thing, and it's just so multifaceted, from the government investment to private sector investment to a very opulent investment and what he's doing. And we go from like the Pinnacle itself in Montego Bay to what we just learned about from Alfonso doing an 850 million US dollar payment on some land in this area out here in the West. And so I try to bring as much of that information to you as possible, but hearing and speaking to the players who are directly either responsible or having playing a very big part in it physically in the same room is very different. And I believe the Diaspora Conference really gives you that opportunity. And also, like, excuse me, same with ThropX, in November. Same thing. It's like that's the whole point in doing that, is it's like hopefully opening the eyes of the diaspora specifically to like really consider investing in Jamaica and maybe even moving here. And I know a lot of people have worked very hard over their careers and have probably many different choices as to where they can move to or retire. And I would hope Jamaica is high on that list, or at least on the list of consideration, and to look into it. And again, I believe conferences like the International Real Estate Conference, the Diaspora Conference, ThropX, these give you real boots on the ground information that you yourself can pick up and learn from, and hear from other people, hear and learn from the panelists. And I didn't mention today, I'm going to be a panelist at the Jamaica Diaspora Conference this year on the 17th. So I'm the first panel. So if you're considering going and want to be part of, not part of, but if you want to hear me on that panel, it'll be Monday, June 17th, the first panel of the day. Please come out. Would love to meet any and all of you. And I'll be there with St. Alban Hill. And it's going to be it's a great conference. You can check it out in the comments. I just put the link there. Take a look at the lineup. We talked about it in great detail with the podcast that I did on Thursday. I encourage you, if you weren't able to make it live, to definitely go check it out. I'm actually going to put it up here for you so you can take a listen to. I'm actually going to put it into a podcast itself because it is, I mean, when I say podcast, like the traditional podcast, because it was really good. And I'm not saying this just because it's because I was on it, but those two gentlemen really did a great job in us learning about what they do and how they do it, but then also learning about the in great detail what is to be expected at the Jamaica Diaspora Conference starting on June 17th. So definitely check it out if you can make it. It's worth it in my opinion. Let's get through a few more comments here. Red Stripe for Life says Negril has a potential to be a top 5 places for digital nomads, but it doesn't have the internet capacity as yet. Do you know if telecom providers are taking steps to improve speed and coverage? I mean, Negril, I don't know about capacity, but let me do a test here right now. I mean, we have the speeds. And then I don't know, like, what kind of speed are you looking for? All right, so that's one network. We got 24 megabytes per second. Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. Almost did something very silly. I almost just cut myself off from here. Thank God that didn't work. But how fast the speeds are you looking? Because sometimes you can get dedicated speed. You can get in the hundreds if you want. You can get as fast as you really need. So I'd be interested to know like what you're looking for. But the backbone is here in the grill. There's no question. There's no question whether they can handle like the bandwidth of like thousands of people needing 200 megabytes per second download speeds. I don't know. I can't answer that question, but I think it's a good question. I think I should let me screenshot that. It's a good question that I think is worth looking into. Joe says increase salaries so people can afford the homes. I mean, so with that, I say two things with that, right? I did this was like I think it's still relevant. We did this about a year ago. I had 3 or 4 of the young people on my team. We did a live podcast, just kind of get an understanding of whether they believe that they will eventually be able to afford a home in their lifetime, and they were all optimistic. For the most part, they were optimistic that they would be able to afford a home, and I think a lot of the affordability aspect comes down to a lack of understanding of how these financial institutions work. And I do, and I'm making a commitment. Like I want to make that information more readily available, and show people that it is very much possible for you to be able to afford a home, especially young people. I think it's important for them to have hope that and also a goal towards working to achieve this. Can you afford a home at 22 years old, first job, first career? I don't think many places in the world will allow you to do that, right? But hopefully, as you make your way up the ladder in whatever endeavor that you're working on, that you have the ability to do so in 10 or 20 years from now. And so I feel like that's the most important thing that we can do as a society is give everybody a chance, everybody an opportunity at achieving a life in which they can raise a family and send them to school so they can become part of that circle of life, so to speak. So that's one aspect of it. on the other side of the affording homes and paying a salary that so people can afford homes, it's also, and this is what I say goes back to the productivity of the individual person in Jamaica. That has to be raised. And to me, the only way that we can do that is by investing in education heavily. And I give this example as we move more into this digitally competitive world. Can the When you look at the productivity of the average Jamaican compared to, say, the average worker in Philippines, can we beat them out? Can we do that when in Mexico, Jamaica versus Mexico? Can we do that Jamaica versus Dominican Republic? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure the answer to that. And it's not like I can be like, yo, of course, we'll wipe the floor with them. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. When you look at, say, even like a remote worker, right? And which I have worked with a few, and particularly in the Philippines. And I was working with this one remote media company, and they were editing my video. These guys were crazy, absolutely crazy. The I hate to say this, but like the editors here couldn't compete with them. And this is talking about my industry. And what I say compete, they have me perhaps have the skill set, yes, but I don't think we can compete with them on, and of course I'm generalizing here, the turnaround work ethic that they have. That was like my personal experience. It got so bad, in quote unquote, and then what I mean by bad, I mean good. They were so good at the turnaround in the speed in which they were sending me back work. I actually stopped working with them because I couldn't produce enough content to give them. And we don't have that here. We don't have that level. And then you can take that for almost anything, right? Let's take a reservationist here. And you have a reservationist that, or even an admin job, replying to emails. And you have somebody that's in the Philippines that's working for a fraction, a fraction of what you would pay a Jamaican worker, but they're more efficient. They are more task oriented, meaning that you give them a list, a check, a to do, like same that you would give here, but they're just going through it and they're just work, check, work, check, work, check. And as a business owner, and put yourself in the position, it's just like, who would you go with? Who are you gonna which worker are more likely going to entrust your business with, or entrust the task with? And I think this is going to continue to be a conversation that's coming along, because as a business owner, like, why would you pay, and this is what I mean by from a productivity standpoint, pay more to get less? And it's an interesting conversation that I think we need to start having a lot more, because that is the reality of where the world is going. And imagine it's like a situation, and even if it's not Philippines, what if it's another country that, like, anything that you can do on the computer or on the phone, there's another country that could do it better, faster, cheaper. So this is it's a very interesting conversation, and very interesting time that we find ourselves in that regard. So I think the answer to a lot of this is like, we got to become more productive individually, generally speaking, across the island. And to me, the only way that we can do that is through education, because we can increase salaries. I mean, even if we double salaries right now, right? Then we can't complain about $5 water, because everything else is going to go up too. It's just basic economics, right? And like, I think that's why they're doing it slowly, so they you don't cause like this great inflation that goes on, and everybody is we're complaining about how expensive hotels are, how expensive meals are. I mean, if you double, like, everything else is going to go up. So it has to be done strategically. Let's see. Shauna says, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Please listen to Shauna. That would be very, very, very helpful. Rose Gold said, and jobs, not every skilled occupation is digital. Not all of us want to wait until retirement to afford things. I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. Nay says, Throp, every week. This is going to be a quick live. I have some things to do. 2 hours later, we're still in the thick of another interesting discussion. Love it. Right? Oh, wow. It's 2 hours and 14 minutes. I didn't even realize. Oh, wow, I really do got to go. Oh, man. This is good. Nay says, Throp, what do you think about the townhouses coming to White House starting at 450K? I don't know about that. The only thing I know about is White House Beach Club. I don't know about the townhouses that you're talking about. What's the name of it? Man, I did want to talk about this. We only got through two articles. I'll probably do another midweek stream for sure. We got the. Let me do these announcements real quick. Oh, and they're talking about White House Beach Club. Okay, yep. I'm aware of that. They've been there for a while, building out. I think they're beautiful. I haven't been to them. I've been trying to line myself up to do a tour, but there's just been misalignments. I don't know if we're going to get to it this year, to be honest. But they look awesome. They look awesome. They actually have like a tunnel to get to the beach access. All right, let's get to some announcements here. So Thursday again, hopefully you can make it. Thursday we have another sponsored live stream. This is with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. We're doing alongside being sponsored by the VM Group. And 5 p.m. we're doing another live stream on the Jamaica Diaspora Conference. So we're going to be pushing that out on Instagram and also the community page, reminding everybody about the conference, reminding everybody about the live stream. Because I feel like I want to finish this discussion. We didn't really finish it. So, and I got to go. It's my brother's birthday and we're going to hang out. So maybe I'm not going to promise Wednesday. I'll try to get in like Thursday for sure. Maybe we'll even do one on Wednesday. I'm not sure if we'll do Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll figure it out. I'll put it in the community post make it as a community post. But definitely want to finish up this discussion. And what else we got going on this week? I don't know if you all saw the Black Man the Traveler interview is up. I thought it was a great one. It was a really, when I say a roller coaster ride, but it was interesting, just like hearing this guy's travel story, his stories, his near death experiences, of all over the world. I'm just gonna throw it in the comment section so you have so it's easier for you to access. So that was released yesterday. You can check it out when you get a chance. And I think that's it. I will see you on the Instagrams. I will see you in the community area. And this was good. This was fun. This flew by. I know it was over 2 hours, but for me, like, these things go by so quick. We didn't even get past to any of the articles that that I wanted to get to. But hope everybody has a great week. Thanks for hanging out today. And I will see you on Thursday, if not before. Take care, everybody.